I want to share with you what I learned when I wanted to put my book and my short stories up on Kindle. This is one person's approach to it. It worked very well for me. It doesn't require any special tools. It doesn't require a consultant. The only thing you need are a computer and several other things. But before you begin, some of these things have already been pointed out to you. You need to have the rights to your novel or your story. You have to have the rights to the cover art, and if you don't, you have to design a cover, because as Ellen said, a cover really sells a book. You need a copy of the manuscript, the way I do it, in Word format. And you can get that either by scanning, or you can, David was telling me earlier that he actually, on some of his old manuscripts, has someone retype them. You need to have handy the synopsis of the work. You need your author biography, short or long, and you need subject categories, like Ellen said. And you also, if you have any laudatory reviews, have those ready too, because under the description area on both Kindle and Nook, you will find a place to add that information. The next steps are to correct the formatting in Word, convert the Word document to HTML, and then you can upload the file to Amazon or to Nook. And I want to take the steps with you one at a time. To correct the format, this can sometimes be a challenge, and it depends on how clean the scan is, or how good your typist is, or how well the original Word document has been typed. Proofing is really, really important if your Word document has been produced from a scan. These are actual sentences from a scan that was done after I ran spell check. Tiffany-style tight fixtures. Floor of a modem, two-car garage. Or Sony, I've been so crabby. I think you can see how the scanning software made those mistakes. Those are the things I call spell check errors, because they are correct words, but they're not going to be picked up in spell check. Anyway, this is a really easy way to do this. You bring the manuscript up, and then up on the top of the Word screen, depending on what version you have, there'll be a little icon that looks like a paragraph mark. It's a show icon. You click that on, and that reveals all the printing characteristics. Now you need to clean up this document, because it needs to flow very smoothly. So the first thing to do is remove all headers, footers, and page numbers. And you can do that using View, Header, Footer, and then just block, delete, and then close it. And you would repeat that with footers. So there's nothing up here anymore. Then the next thing that I do is I block select the whole document. This takes a long time if you have a book. It's not so bad for a short story. But what I'm going to do here is globally format my document so that the indents are automatic. And you don't have to worry about them. The manuscript will take care of itself for the most part. And to do that, I've got the complete instructions here and also in your handout. You use format, paragraph, indents, and spacing. And then this is the formula I used, and this is a print of the screen where it says body text, left justified, and then the indenting, the first line by 0.05, and all these other values are set to 0. If you read online about formatting guides, they'll recommend anything from single space to space and a half to double, but I did an experiment, and Kindle doesn't care. It's going to put the amount of space between the lines it wants to. So I just left it at double, but you could put single or 1.5. It really doesn't matter. Now you need to correct the fonts. If you have chapter heads and some sort of fancy text, just change it, because it's probably not going to show up. Times New Roman, Arial, Georgia, Garamond are all real good typefaces to use for Kindle. Then you can use the find and replace feature of Word to do a lot of the work for you. You've got to get rid of a lot of things like extra paragraph marks. Tabs are really, will be a major headache when you upload a document if you don't get rid of them. And the reason you set up that global formatting ahead of time is so you don't need tabs. You don't need paragraph marks. They're irrelevant. And you can use search and replace and these little codes to get rid of extra paragraph marks. You don't have to understand it, just copy it. You do PP, replace with P until you just keep doing that over and over again until the results are 0. The same thing for extra tabs are replaced with a blank space. Extra spaces, this is a period. A lot of us, particularly those of us of a certain age, we learned how to type. We put double spaces between periods in the next sentence. It needs to be one space, so that's easy to fix. Dot, space, space, replaced by dot, space. And you do the same thing with quote marks and single quotes, exclamation points, question marks, ellipses. There's this really neat feature of find and replace. If you click on this, if it's a short box you're looking at, if you click on this little thing right here, it enlarges the box and you get all these special characters down here where the arrow is. And in this case, you can replace a dash. You see all of these options here. This is an M dash, and or replace it with a nice long dash like publishers prefer. And so on until your manuscript is clean. But these are the major items that you're going to want to deal with. Lots of times you'll end up with straight quotes. Kindle prefers curly quotes and also stylized. For stylistic purposes, curly quotes are better. And there are a number of steps to replace your straight quotes with curly quotes, and I've put them here for you. You can just follow that. And then what you do is on this autocorrect thing, you make sure that this box is checked, single straight quotes replaced with smart quotes, and then you just do find and replace and put a quote mark in each one, and it just goes through the whole manuscript like magic and changes all the curly straight quotes to curly quotes. And then alas, you have to do the same thing for your single quotes, like the quotes that are inside. Page breaks you should use page breaks instead of section breaks. Section breaks don't work very well in the Kindle format, so just replace them with page breaks. Best place for that is when you have an end of a section or when you want to start a new chapter. You want to put a page break in there. And then when you get the manuscript as clean as you can, you're going to add a copyright page at the head of your document followed by a page break. And you'll have your copyright of the original if it's something you're reprinting, or if it's something that is brand new, an original thing, you can just say first Kindle edition and put the date. You can put any information about previously published. In this case, I just said what magazine it had been published in before. And then if you have a color, if you use an image that you got from somewhere that you paid for, or somebody designed the cover for you, then this is the proper place to give them credit as well. The next step is to save your document as HTML, and Word allows you to do that very, very easily. It's just File, Save As, web page, or you can actually File, Save As, and then on the drop-down menu here, you save as HTML. And then what I like to do is, in order to keep myself sane, I put all of the things I'm going to need for any particular book or short story in one place on my desktop, so I know where I can find it. And that includes your document HTML, whatever it is, your book cover JPEG, any descriptions you have that you want to use, because you can block copy those and insert them into the website. Any author information, quotes, kudos, and so on. You want to have that all handy. The other thing you're going to need if you've never set up a Kindle account or a Nook account before is information on how they pay you. This is really important. You need your bank account information. Just have it handy. You need your bank name, your routing number, and your account number. If you are an entity with a tax ID number, you'll need that, or your Social Security number, because you're going to be making gobs of money and they're going to want to send you a tax form so that you can properly pay your taxes. You'll need a credit card number, because there'll be proofs that you have to order of if you're doing a book or something, a physical proof, you might need to order one of those with your expiration date. So have those things handy. Uploading to Kindle, you just go to this URL here. I put it up there because sometimes it's really hard to find it when you go to just Kindle to look for it. But go there and create an account. And that's very easy. If you already have an Amazon ID, you can just use that. Or you can create another one. I kept mine separate from, I kept the one I order books from, like for myself, separate from the one I use for publishing. And then they make it really, really easy. It says upload a book, and you get this screen. And at this point, you just follow the instructions online. After it is uploaded and converted, it gives you a green check mark and this very cheerful little message, upload and conversion successful. This is where you need to preview the book. Go look at it. Because almost without exception, the first time you look at it, there's going to be a problem. There's going to be double spaces somewhere. There's going to be a funny word wrap. Typos are going to leap right out at you for some reason. And then you just simply go back, fix the original file, resave it as an HTML, and try it again. Once it's uploaded and successfully, Amazon has this dashboard which lists all your works, and it'll have a status over here. And the first time it goes up, I think it says it's in review or under review, something like that. They'll send you an email message. They'll let you know when it's uploaded, that it's under review, and when it's live, you can either go back to that dashboard and it will say live over here, which means people can now buy it, or they'll send you an email message saying, congratulations, you have now published on Amazon. They get very excited about it. Adding the same file to Nook is just as easy, and really the websites are quite similar. You just go to this URL. Be sure if you're going to upload the same file, be sure you change this thing that says first Kindle edition, say first Nook edition. But just change that and whatever you want to do that might differentiate a Kindle edition from a Nook edition. And then you log on to Pubit, which is Nook's, Barnes & Noble Nook's ebook system. And you just set up an account, just like you did for Amazon. Anyway, here are some references that I found particularly useful and hope you do too. Someone mentioned J.A. Conrad's guide and his blog. That's very good. Here's the Amazon publishing guidelines, the Barnes & Noble formatting guide. Mark Coker from Smashwords has a wonderful formatting guide. So you want it to be clean, you want it to be professional, and that's the secret.
So you don't need any special software, just your Word, and the formatting rules are essentially the same, or do you have to go through and?
No, you just clean up your document and save it as HTML. Right now that works. 2 weeks from now I can't say, but it worked. It works for me, and they both accept those files.
Do you need to have a separate ISBN number for the Nook version that's separate from the Kindle?
Yes.
Yes. If you choose to have an ISBN for, and I would recommend that for a novel. For short stories, I don't think it's that important. Because the ISBN, all those little numbers mean something specific. The first few numbers, I don't know, I think they mean United States or something. But they're specific to publisher. So if you buy a box of 10, they're for you as, your entity as your own publisher, but I can't buy one from you because I'm not you. Because it means when you sign up for them, that those numbers in the computer will mean you, not me. Amazon gives them, if you go through CreateSpace for your book, Amazon gives you an ISBN through Amazon for free. Oh, and I should caution you, do not try to use the ISBN that was on the print copy of your book, because that specifically means this book was published by HarperCollins and it is this specific title, or whatever your publisher is. You need to have a fresh, clean ISBN that's specific to that ebook.
The question I have is, you're very moxie with technology, and I wondered how much time it took you to do the entire process.
The first short story took me all day. The next day I did 2. And then after that I found I could clean up a document, and I could do about 5 a day. So there is a learning curve there, but once you get going, and, I made a list of, this is, and pretty much what you have in your handout is what I discovered was the sequence that worked best for me.